Okay, hi guys. So today we are talking about how I got my SP, all the steps, what I did wrong. I created that situation back probably 4 or 5 times. So it's basically, I did a combination of these things each time I did it, depending on how I felt, or what I felt like doing. Okay, so this video is for anyone who believes their SP is not amazing and here, even though the 3D says otherwise, and or anyone who's ever had a doubt ever. So it's basically for everyone, okay? And yes, to answer all your, this is a clothespin, okay? That's where we're at today. Oh, and also the toothpaste right here. Oops. Okay. Wonder how long that's been there. I'm probably gonna leave that in. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about today. So it's basically, this video is for everyone. You can apply this to anything. This is literally how you can manifest or create anything in your life. And remember, we're not really creating anything. We're actually just lining up with that reality, because if you remember, everything is on a parallel plane and everything's coexisting at the same time. So you can literally pick any plane to be on at any time, right? It's that simple. So, I mean, it's simple, right? But it's sometimes not easy to do it all, right? But it is a simple thing, right? It's seemingly simple. If you just think about it like that, it appears simple, right? So, and it can be simple, you know, and I'm just going to go through the steps of what I did, what not to do, what I did wrong, you know, not that you can ever ruin it, but that it can be slowed down, right? You could slow down the process. Anyway, so hopefully you guys love this video. If you love this content, thumbs me up. You can do it right now. I probably won't say that at the end anymore. I'm going to say it at the beginning. So, all right, let's get started. So this is literally how I got my SP every single time. I have some notes just because it might be a long video, even though I'm going to try to keep it under 15 minutes. So, okay, so let's get into it. How do you do it? You literally just get into the state of having the thing, having SP, having what you want, and you try to return to the state as much as possible. That's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you love this video. I'm just kidding. But literally, that's basically the step, okay? I'm kidding about it being over right now, but I'm going to explain how I actually did that, right? Because that's literally what you do. You want to get in a state. You want to get in the state of having, right? Because everything's here now. So if you just get in the state of having the thing, then it's going to be coming in as your reality, as you're, you know, surrounding you and becoming your reality. So some things I'm going to start with are 2 things. I hope this thing you're creating isn't just about this thing. I hope I actually hope it's bringing you to a whole new level of awareness, and it's changing the way you view the world, right? It's not just to get this one thing. I hope that whatever it is that brings you to this way of thinking is a catalyst for changing your life, right? And really switching the way you see the world around, because I believe it's meant to be that, right? Like, it's meant to be changing you, right? And it's the reason why you want this thing so strongly, because it allows you to learn all these things to enable yourself to really see the world differently, and then inevitably, ultimately change the way you view everything, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is, I hope you're not crazy hyper-focused on that one thing. Also, like I've talked about a little bit in my video about excess potential, right? You don't want to be putting all of your energy on that one thing, because it's almost like, you know, I don't want to use like hurting an animal analogy, but like holding a bird in your hand versus like squeezing the bird, right? You're going to hurt the bird, or it's going to not want to be there if you're holding on too tightly, right? But if you just allow the bird to sit there and you give it a nice place to sit, and you just, you know, just being relaxed about it, it's going to want to be there, right? So it's something like, it's kind of like that. And I've used the analogy of like using a laser beam sword to cut a piece of fruit. The fruit's going to go everywhere, right? Because it's too much excess potential. It's too much energy on that one thing. So it's a good idea to spread yourself out, manifest a couple things at the same time, right? SP, work stuff, and maybe one other thing like health related or something, you know, not too many things so you're overwhelmed, but you know, so you're not just only hyper focused on that one thing. Okay, that was the second thing. Moving on. Okay, so the third thing is, these are just like the preliminary steps, and then I'm going to go into what I actually did. So don't ever say, I want you to take these things out of your vocabulary. Okay, don't ever say, it's not here, I don't know if I'm doing this right, why is it taking so long? Okay, all those things are just not going to help, right? They are just not, should not be in your vocabulary. You can just readjusting. They can be taken out of your vocabulary right now. Like if you've ever said that stuff, just make sure you know you don't have to say it again. You know, just eliminate that stuff. If you are noticing the time, you are not living in the end. So literally, if you notice the time, if you're thinking about, oh, it's taking this many days, if you even have like an awareness of how long it's been taking, you're not consciously trying to live in the end, and you're definitely not living in the end most of the time, right? And the idea and the goal is not to be always living in the end, because that's almost impossible until you reach sort of like a Sabbath, and then you're mostly living in the end. But you're gonna, either way, even when you haven't reached Sabbath yet, or any time during this process, you're going to be just trying to live in the end mostly, right? Being in the state of having mostly, right? And those two things are the same. So living in the end, being in the state of having, it's the same. And you want to do that the majority of the time. That's where you want your focus to be, right? So if you're doing that correctly, you're not going to be noticing the time. So that's a good indicator that you're not actually doing the process, right? You really got to be doing it in order to not notice the time. Okay, so okay, and then do not worry about the time, will come when you're in the state, right? So it will come when you're in the state dominantly. You never have to worry about how much time it's taking, and everything has its appointed hour. It's going to come. You got to be so in your state or returning as much as you can to the state dominantly, that you're enjoying that enough where you don't need it, right? You're not even noticing that it's not right here right now, and you mostly just think it's here anyway because you're just in a state. So that's the goal. Okay, so let's move on to exactly what I did. Okay, and like I said, I mixed this up a little bit. I wasn't fully always doing every one of these. There's some of the ones that I did consistently, like self-concept, throughout each time that I created the relationship back, but not always everything else. Okay, so let's just check, where's my stuff here. Okay, so what I did, I did visuals. I haven't written because it's been a while. Like you know, I did this a while ago. I haven't manifested an SP for like a couple years now, so you know, I just wrote myself some notes. So what I did was I did visuals before bed, because I've spoke about sets also before, that it is so powerful to use the time right before sleep to, you know, imprint the subconscious. It's where the subconscious mind meets the conscious mind, right? So you are literally almost like passing the information along from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. So it can be really beneficial to imprint and then wake up in the state. And I got used to doing that at night and waking up in a state, and really would be in the state a lot of the days, right? And some days are going to be just naturally harder than others, and then it'll take a little more work to get in the state, right? But the goal is always to be getting into the state, right? And you know, sometimes you're not going to always be there, obviously. So yeah, I would do visuals before bed, or I would do the lullaby method, which I have talked about a lot. It's just, you know, looping an affirmation over and over, and actually I would pick an affirmation that would give me a feeling and a visual. So it really would evoke the same kind of thing, right? Even though all that I could do sometimes if I was really tired was just say one sentence, right? I would literally just say one sentence, but it would be a couple of sentences I know I used was, he's always happy to see me, or he's so happy to see me, we are so in love, anything like that that's just so simple, or our relationship's so amazing. I would just say the simplest thing, and then a scene that I would have with that naturally would be something like, you know, smiling and sitting next to him at dinner, or going up to him and hugging him, you know, randomly, or something like that. Like, it would be a small little scene that would naturally come up given me saying those, right? And then I would just say it until I fell asleep, and then a lot of times I would wake up in a state. That's what I would do when I was tired, which was a lot of the time, right? I didn't have the energy to do a whole scene. I would just do, you know, one affirmation. So, and then another thing I did was keeping thoughts in check during the day, right? So a mental diet, I would just not let my thoughts spiral. If I had one negative thought, no problem, I would just get back, you know, or, you know, negate it with a scene. You can negate it with a scene, or bring up one of your affirmations, and you know, it should get you back into the state, right? Because we're not always going to be in the state, but we're just returning to the state as much as we can, right? So getting into the state the best you can using I am affirmations in the morning. So when I woke up, I would check in with myself, and if I was already there, sometimes I wouldn't do this step, like if I had done something before bed. But in the morning is another special time where you can imprint your mind easier, because you're kind of, your conscious mind hasn't turned on yet. So it's kind of a powerful time, not kind of, it is a powerful time, when you haven't, and you kind of disturb that if you watch or look at blue light. So I would not look at my phone, and I would just go right into checking in with myself, and doing that first thing before my brain woke up and could tell me anything different, right? It's like, get your mind when it's chilled out, you know, when it's relaxed, and put something in there, you know, to make it listen to you, right? Because you're trying to reprogram, imprint the subconscious with your, you know, what you want, right? So I would do that right in the morning. Something I am, right? Like, I am the best girlfriend, you know, I am such as girlfriend, or I am in the most amazing relationship. And like, you know, I would do a little thing where I would feel that, right? And the other thing, sorry, I was thinking that I had already done a lot of self-concept stuff, so but it is included in this. Like, in these steps, that should be something you either have already done to eliminate feelings of being rejected, to eliminate all the states that you don't want to be in, like rejection state, the state of being unwanted, the state of not thinking any guys like you, the state of not thinking anyone wants a serious relationship, the state of not being wanted and special and amazing. All those states can be eliminated with doing self-concept work. So that's like one of the baselines, right? And I had already done a lot of that, so that's not something I kind of included here. But if you haven't done it, you know, and you notice any one of those things is skewed, you know, and not what you want, then do that during this process, okay? And then things I did that slowed it down. So that was basically it. I did a combination of those things. Like I said, I did either nighttime or morning. If I couldn't do it at night, I definitely did it in the morning before my brain woke up, you know. So that was literally it. That's it. That's all I used to get in a state. And that's literally how you can manifest anything. It's not even just SP. It's literally anything. So now the things I did that were slowing it down, so that I don't recommend you do. So I also did, I used my own sleep tapes before bed with affirmations that specifically made me feel differently. Okay, so that's the other thing I did. I would record my own voice because I thought it was really powerful. I never slept with sleep tapes at night, like the whole night, because I couldn't get good sleep. I tried that, but I couldn't get good sleep, and I felt I didn't need it also. It was just as powerful just to do the sleep tapes before bed, which I am going to be making some tapes like that. Like I mentioned in my last video, I'm going to be making tapes like that so that you guys can use them before bed, because I think it's really powerful. Okay, it's already 15 minutes. So what I did, let's see, things I did to slow it down. Noticing my 3D slows it down, right? You don't want to keep noticing it. You want to take note if you need the information, like if it's telling you something important, like if you see something and you're like, oh no, like it brings up an emotion, then it's probably telling you something important, like, oh, I need to work on that, right? And so then make an affirmation about that thing that's coming up, right? But other than that, other than just using it for information, ignore it, you know, and you can keep reminding yourself that it's not important, you know, it's important only for information, but it's not going to affect your creation, right? And that's another thing. When these doubts come up during the day, you just want to make sure you keep telling yourself you're more powerful than the doubts, right? Your mind is more powerful than the doubts. So just allow them to come up, but don't be, you know, pushing them, like trying to get them to go away like crazily, because then they're just going to come back with a vengeance, right? So you want to just be a little lighter about it, and just know that you're more powerful than them, and you'll start taking the power away from them. And that's really a powerful thing. So so noticing my 3D, being too realistic was another one. Like when people ask me questions about it, you can just, you know, or when people ask you, just say, I don't want to talk about it, or let's talk about you, or I'm having fun with it, or, you know, you can say anything really general, but don't give a lot of information out, especially if it's getting you to be too realistic, right? You don't want to be 3D realistic right now. You want to be all in your fairy tale, in your fantasy, right? And be focused on that, and that's it, right? And not get swayed by people asking questions, or, you know, seeing certain things in the 3D that don't match up, okay? So let's see. Yeah, so the last thing I said, or a couple of things, using crappy more powerful. Yeah, so making yourself more powerful, and choosing and knowing you always have the final choice, right? If anything comes up, know you're the final choice, and you can just keep choosing to be in this state, okay? And then not fully knowing any crap thoughts are weak compared to my, so when I didn't fully know, my crap thoughts were weak compared to my stubborn gumption to get what I wanted, right? So that's what I would keep telling myself. Like I would be like, these crap thoughts are weak, nothing compared to my gumption to get what I want. And I would just say that, like, I've got the gumption. And that's another thing. There was something in here that I wanted to say. I'm gonna just switch screens for a second. Let's see. Okay, that's the other thing. So one thing I had going for me, I wanted to tell you guys, which you can have going for you too, is that I'm really stubborn. Literally say it's like my way or the highway, and like nothing interferes with what I'm doing, right? And you can even say that to yourself, like, it's my way or the highway, like this is the way it is. And I would just keep reminding myself and just stand my ground, you know. And it gets you in the mode of, this thing's mine and I don't care. Like whatever comes up that's not with my end, in line with my end, is just not even my thing, not even my problem, nothing I need to concern myself with. I'm not even looking at it, doing my own thing. So that's basically what I did. And then I kept a good mental diet, you know, and then, you know, any extraneous random bad thoughts, I just said, I'm more powerful than that. They're no match for me, you know. Let's see. Okay, so that's basically it. There's one last thing I'm going to say here too. Do you want your pie? So this has to do with time, okay? This is not a 15-minute video, but close enough. Okay, so do you want your pie before it's ready? No, it's gooey and gross. You want him amazing and ready for a relationship. So do you in the meantime, and don't mess with the middle, okay? So it'd be like, so if you are just trying to get text messages, or you feeling impatient, you're looking at the time, you're wondering where it is, and you're having all these random things like, oh, maybe I should manifest a date, or maybe I should manifest contact, or all this little messing in the middle type stuff, you are not waiting for it to be amazing, you know, and there is no real waiting, right? You're just doing you are getting into the state, you are getting so good at getting into the state that you don't even notice it's not here in the 3D, right? That's the goal, right? You don't even notice it's not here, okay? So that was the last thing I wanted to say. And remember, guys, you have everything already. This is a journey of having. You literally already have it. Because you are the I am. That was something I wrote here too. So embrace that and be it now, you guys, because you are the I am. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you need a part 2, let me know. I didn't want to be too long. Anyway, I love you guys. hopefully that helped. I hope you loved the video. Thumbs me up if you love Neville and changing your life, transformation, law of assumption, and my unique perspective. Stick around. I'd love to have you. Bye from little Miss Girly. Bye guys.